Hey guys, Rich from GunTortureTest.com. The year is 1934. John Dillinger has decided that he likes V8s because that's the year he stole his very first V8. Bonnie and Clyde are killed in an ambush by police officers in Louisiana. Adolf Hitler has taken the moniker Führer and has, that's pretty much a culmination of his rise to power, and it was just all downhill from there. The average income in the United States of America in 1934 was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. Now that's kind of a big deal. And the reason I'm saying that is that even though the median income was $1,500 or thereabouts, that was based on a bunch of different professions. For instance, if you were an airline pilot in 1934, you made $8,000 a year. If you were a congressman, you made somewhere in the neighborhood of $9,000 a year. If you were a farmhand, you made about $150 or $160 a year. And that's where this big deal comes in. 1934 was also the year that the National Firearms Act was made into was brought into being by an act of Congress. The NFA is a tax, plain and simple. Okay, if you are convicted and found guilty of violating any part of the NFA, that's basically tax evasion. And there's nothing the government loves more than to put people in jail for tax evasion. They will hammer you for it. So what's the NFA? Well, like I said, it's the National Firearms Act. And what it means is if you want to own a suppressor, if you want to own a short barrel rifle, a short barrel shotgun, or what's called AOW, all other weapons, it has to be registered with the federal government. And along with that registration is a tax, and they literally give you a stamp, just like you find on a cigarette pack. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about the NFA and what it takes to, to procure certain items, and how much it costs. Short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, suppressors, and transferable machine guns. Now, the government defines a machine gun as a firearm that is capable of discharging more than one round with one pull of the trigger. Now, whether that's dumping an entire 30-round mag or a 3-round burst, it's more than one round per trigger pull. It's a machine gun, period. They don't differentiate any more specific than that. If you can find a transferable machine gun, for instance, let's say you want a transferable M16, okay? Transferable means it was manufactured and registered before May of 1986. And so, see, there's a lot of little weird stuff going on here, okay? But pre-86 M16s are $17,000, $18,000, and they're generally ragged out Marine Corps surplus, okay? Trigger packs, full auto trigger packs for an AR-15, M16 platform gun. $11,000, $12,000 for something that cost about $30 to make way back before this all came into being. Suppressors, well, we've talked about suppressors before, and they can go from $400 all the way up to $2,000 and $3,000 for some really high-end ones. And what all these things have in common is there's a $200 tax added. Okay, so if you come to me and you see one of my suppressors in my case, and you say, "Hey, Rich, I want to buy that suppressor," okay, pay me. First of all, pay me. Okay, and then we fill out what's called a Form 4. A Form 4 is a transfer form where the item in question is being taken out of my name. Okay, because everything NFA that's in my store is actually in my store's name. And it's being taken out of my name. The registration is being transferred from me to you, okay? And it's going to cost you $200, unless it's an AOW where it's only $5. But we're not going to really go there right now. So you buy the suppressor from me. We do the Form 4. You take the Form 4 to the chief law enforcement officer in your district, in your jurisdiction rather, okay? You get them to sign off on it. You get some fingerprints and some other stuff. You come back to me with the Form 4 and a $200 check made out to the ATF. I put it all in an envelope. I send it off. I tell you to go home. I tell you not to call me. I'll call you. And in 3-4 months, maybe a little longer. The ATF will send me that same Form 4 with a tax stamp affixed to it. I will call you. I will say, hey, John Doe, come and get your suppressor or whatever it is you bought. And it's going to be the best phone call you had that week, I promise you. Now, what's the reason behind all this stuff? Like I said, in 1934, when the NFA was enacted, the government was looking for a way to crack down on the criminals, which is also the reason for pretty much every gun law we have. They were looking for a way to crack down on criminals because people like Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde, and Bonnie and Clyde, Clyde really loved to cut down BARs. That was his favorite gun to use. Okay, and I forget the exact year, but right here in Oklahoma, they broke into a National Guard armory over by Oklahoma City and stole a bunch of BARs. The government wanted to keep these kind of guns out of the hands of criminals, so they enacted this tax. Now, in this respect, especially in a year where a brand new Tommy gun, a brand new Thompson, would cost you about $200, adding a $200 tax onto it was effectively doubling the price of the gun, which put it way beyond the reach of your average Joe citizen, okay? So it's kind of a de facto backdoor kind of scumbaggy way to ban them, okay? I love my country. I do, okay? I consider myself to be a patriot, but I got to tell you, the less involvement the federal government has in my life, the happier I am. Okay, which is odd considering what I do for a living. Okay, the federal government is up my ass all the time as far as paperwork, and because I sell guns, you know. So what they did is they enacted this $200 tax, but that didn't stop criminals. It doesn't stop criminals. Laws don't stop criminals. They stop law-abiding citizens. Okay. So I guess the good thing about the NFA is that the tax hasn't increased. Okay, it hasn't gone up, with inflation. But the bad thing is that it exists at all. But the long and the short of it is, if you want to own something, okay, that's registered, that's on the NFA registry, you have to pay for it, and it's that simple. And every time, if you bought a suppressor from me, you pay a $200 tax. If you turn around 5 years from now and you want to sell that suppressor, the person who's buying it from you pays a $200 tax. Okay. The fines and the penalties for violating the National Firearms Act are very, very stiff, guys. We're talking about 10 years in federal penitentiary. We're talking about, $100,000 and up fines. Okay, we're talking about forfeiture of all your firearms and forfeiture of your right to own another firearm ever again. We're talking about a lot of big deal here, all for screwing up on a $200 tax. So, if you want a machine gun, a transferable machine gun, and remember, that's going to be pre-86, it's a $200 tax. If you want a short barrel rifle, that's a $200 tax. If you want a short barrel shotgun, that's a $200 tax. If you're taking a legal length shotgun or a legal length rifle, and you want to cut it down to where it would be considered an SBR or an SBS, you're not filing a Form 4 on that. You're filing what's called a Form 1, okay? And that's to manufacture an SBR or an SBS. Do not cut your barrel down before your Form 1 is approved, okay? If you want to transfer what's called an AOW and all other weapons, that consists of stuff like pen guns, cane guns, belt buckle guns, anything that doesn't fit the very narrow parameters of the other definitions. That's only a $5 tax. Now, if you want to manufacture one of these, it's still a $200 manufacturing tax, but the transfer tax on one of those items is only $5. The NFA is I mean, it's here. It's been here for 80, almost 90 years at this point, okay? I don't think it's going anywhere too soon. It's too much of a moneymaker for the feds, okay? And we all know how the feds love their taxes. The big thing is to know what you're getting into. okay? If you're going to do anything NFA, I cannot stress this enough, I strongly suggest you do what's called an NFA trust, okay? Do a little research on the internet, you'll find out what that is. Basically, it's a revocable living trust that you put your NFA items into, okay? And it has a lot of benefits. If there's interest, I guess I can do a video in the future on specifically on an NFA trust. But the long and the short of it is I can't recommend it strongly enough to do a trust, okay? It keeps the stuff out of your name. It speeds up the paperwork, sometimes by as much as half. It makes it so if you have other people on your trust, they can use your toys without you having to be present, and that's the biggest thing right there, okay? You should have a copy of your tax stamp, okay? And you should have it with your NFA item, regardless of what it is, okay? Take your original, make a photocopy, get it laminated, put the original in a safe deposit box or your gun vault, and put the laminated photocopy in your range bag with your SBR, or wherever you're going to keep whatever it is you have that's NFA, okay? Also, and a lot of people don't realize this, you are only required, and this is per the law, you are only required to show your tax stamp to an ATF agent. Okay? Let me say that again. You are only required to show your tax stamp to an ATF agent, and you must do it upon request. Okay? But that means your local cops, state police, county sheriffs, whatever it is, okay, tribal cops, whatever, okay, they don't have the purview. It's not within their powers to check your tax stamp. Now, I'm not saying that so you can go out and start pissing off your local PD, okay? I'm saying that so you know the law, and the law says that you only have to show your tax stamp to an ATF agent on request. Period. Okay? Most people, myself included, if I do get questioned on it, I don't care what uniform you're wearing. If you've got a badge, I'm going to show you my tax stamp. I don't care. Most local cops don't know what the hell they are anyway. Okay? They don't know what they mean. They don't know what a trust is. Okay? They just want to see a piece of, an official piece of paper. Okay? They want to see something official looking. So make them happy. They go on their way. You keep playing with your toys, and everybody's happy. I'm pretty sure that covers it. There's a lot more to it, but the basic gist of it is, if you want to own something NFA, be prepared for paperwork, and it's going to cost you a little money. In today's dollars, it's not a whole hell of a lot, but back then, it was a very, very big deal in the 30s to have to pay an extra $200 tax in order to own some of this stuff. But whatever you do, seriously guys, whatever you do it legal. Okay? You don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to federal prison. Okay? You don't want to lose your right to own guns. Okay? This is kind of a big deal here. As always, thanks for watching. You see my apron? Guys, you see that? That's pretty cool, right? You know where this came from? This came from my Cafe Press store. The link's down in the description of the video. You should go there. You should buy one of these. I'm telling you, it's sexy. Okay? This is the sexiest apron in the world right now, today. And you can own one. I don't know how much they cost. It's not much. I think it's like 17 bucks or something. Whatever it is, it's awesome. It looks good. Okay? Guys, seriously guys, get one of these. You wear it around the house. You don't wear anything under it. Your lady, your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, your dog, whatever, they're just going to think you're the sexiest thing alive, guys. Go to my Cafe Press store. Help me buy a new camera. Rich from GunTortureTest.com. Thanks for watching.